Yeah. They told you what to think, not how to think. Time to wake up. Deprogrammed. Yeah. Static in my head, yeah, they feed it through the screen. Every headline scripted, every angle too clean. They sell fear, sell lies, dress it up as truth. But I see through the smoke, yeah, I'm back to the root. They don't want faith, they want blind compliance. Cancel conviction, silence defiance. But I got fire, ain't hiding that light. Truth in my chest, yeah, I came to fight. They twist what's real, redefine right. Call wrong, progress keep dimming the light. But I read between lines, I don't follow the wave. I was lost, now I'm found, yeah, I broke from the cave. I won't bow, I won't bend. Truth don't change with the trend. Through the noise, through the lies, I can finally see with open eyes. Break the signal, cut the lies. Hear the truth, it never dies. Turn it up, let it roar. We ain't playing this game no more. Deprogrammed, yeah we rise. Faith and fire in our eyes. Stand tall, unashamed, we were lost, but now we're deprogrammed. Try to rewrite the code, turn belief into a joke, make conviction feel old. But I stand on the word, yeah, solid, unshaken. Every lie they built up, yeah, it's all gonna break it. I see culture shift quick like sand in a tide. But truth don't drift, it don't run, it don't hide. They can mock, they can shout, try to bury the name. But the light breaks through, yeah, bursts to the shame. This ain't rage, this is purpose and aim. We bring heat, but we ain't get the flame. Not programmed, not bought, not sold. We speak life, we don't fold. Yeah, it's more than a podcast. It's a wake-up call. Faith over fear. Truth over all. You don't gotta stay asleep. You don't gotta play along. Break the chains. Find your voice. This where you belong.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Deprogrammed. I'm your host, Joshua Cummins. You're listening to the Deprogrammed podcast by Revolver Broadcasting, or with Revolver Broadcasting, on EA Truth Radio, brought to you by eternalaffairsmedia.com. Welcome, 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 and I'm so glad to have you guys. And whether you're watching, a live or recording. And just a reminder, man, if you haven't already, make sure you guys are going to eternalaffairsmedia.com. Go to eternalaffairsmedia.com and check out what's going on with Eternal Affairs. Also, make sure that you're checking out revolverbroadcasting.com. Revolverbroadcasting.com is the website where all of my content, we actually have multiple shows on both networks. So make sure you guys are checking out both things. And we're going to get into this. We have some news stories to cover, a whole lot to cover, about an hour's worth. So make sure you guys are hitting that like button if you haven't already. Make sure you guys are commenting on this content. Comment. Make sure you guys are subscribed or following. Hit that subscribe or follow button, no matter where you're at. And make sure you guys are sharing this content, because as we say with Revolver Broadcasting, sharing is caring.
Oh, yeah!
So let's get into it, shall we? we've got quite a few things that we're going to be covering. As I said, we're going to be talking about Pam Bondi and some things that went down after her fire. You're fired. You're fired. We got rid of her, Pam Bondi. She. Well, I like hiring women. I like hiring women, but she just didn't do her job. She didn't do her job, and so we're gonna read about Pam Bondi and what happened after she got fired. We're gonna read about talk about Trump warning Iran 48 hours before all hell rains down. All hell rains down. We're going to talk about the fact that Trump has just ordered that all DHS employees impacted by the Democrat shutdown to get paid. He's going to do that executive order. We're going to get into the desperate search for a missing pilot of the F-15E jet. Was down by Iran. This stretches into a second day. I heard late last night that they may have found it, but we're gonna go based on what news we have on the news desk right now, and also we're going to be talking about the Department of Justice suing New Jersey town over natural gas hookup ban. A lot going on there, and finally, Congress is doing something. They're demanding Department of War release 46 secret UFO videos, or UAP, depending upon what era you're from. You're going to see some weird things. Okay, let's get over here into the news desk. And let's pull up our first story, shall we? If I can get it to. Okay, there we go. Now it's cooperating. Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi, she's in the news after getting fired by Donald Trump. And well, if you're a news article nut like I am, then you'll know that there was some parting gifts from the Department of Justice staff for old Pam Bondi upon her exit. Apparently, she's not a good boss. So we have Pam Bondi gets brutal parting gift from the DOJ staff. This is from the Daily Beast. This article here I'm reading. So if you're looking for it, that's where it's at. The Justice Department staffers wasted no time in taking down portraits of Pam Bondi after news broke Thursday that President Donald Trump had fired her. One portrait of the outgoing Attorney General was dumped into the trash. Well, let's take a look at that. Goodness, they put her photo right there, right in the trash. Dumpstered. Maybe you should have taken care of that list. You told everybody you had it. Anyway, this is the unceremonious removal of Bondi's portrait from the walls of the Justice Department is symptomatic of the dislike that career DOJ officials and agents had for her. Current and former officials told the outlet. In her 14 months on the job, the department experienced an exodus of staffers who did not want to work for Bondi. The Trump appointee also pushed out many other nonpartisan officials who then claimed she and other top appointees were weaponizing the department at the president's behest, violating court orders, jeopardizing national security, and weakening corruption fighting initiatives, which I don't think that was the problem, really. Honestly, the problem was her not doing her job and doing what she was told, because Trump told her many times, let's focus on getting these names. Let's focus on getting what the public wants. Let's focus on getting justice really brought. And she did. She had one good congressional meeting, and that was about it in her entire time as as the Attorney General. So this is here. Some of those staffers, according to MS Now, which that's a news source if you choose to believe them. I don't really. I start with a place of mistrust, and then we'll see how it goes. But also took issue with how Bondi reacted to seeing portraits of former President Joe Biden, former Vice President Kamala Harris, and former Attorney General Merrick Garland on the walls in the Justice Department early in Trump's second term. Bondi took them down herself, she told Fox News. I don't think there's any problem with that. But she also demoted Devin DeBacker, who was then the acting chief of the DOJ's National Security Division. Well, he probably did need to be demoted, honestly. But let's see what else they got. So the Justice Department did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the Daily Beast. Bondi, age 60, will be at the department through the end of the month before starting a new role in the private sector. She's not going. A lot of people keep saying, "Oh, she's going to be in another part of the administration." Trump's Truth Social post clearly stated she was going into the private sector, not into it. Now, the initial speculation that was on Fox News specifically was that she was going into a different part of the administration because it kept leaking out that she was getting fired. But once we heard the actual news breaking from Donald Trump himself on the Truth Social, he stated that she would be going into the private sector. So I don't know what her job will be, but I'm sure that it'll be the administration adjacent. So she'll still be working with Trump in one way or another, but just through private. And maybe she'll actually do something in the private sector that she could not do as easy. So she has provided no details about her new job. Okay. Trump fired Bondi during the ride in the presidential limousine to the Supreme Court on Wednesday. The Wall Street Journal reported. He said, "I think it's time," he reportedly told Bondi, who pleaded to stay on until summer but was rejected. Bondi later became emotional when speaking to friends and colleagues about her exit, according to the New York Times. Take that with a grain of salt. Bondi's departure came less than 1 month after Trump fired Kristi Noem, whose glamour shots in various Department of Homeland Security outfits were promptly removed from Customs and Border Protection headquarters in Washington. And I agree with something that was said recently: is Trump needs to just honestly stop hiring so many women. I know he likes to hire women, but in positions of power, they just don't fare well. They just don't. You need good, strong-willed men to take those positions. You just do. And I don't know why. I don't know why he continues to do that. I know it's something that he's done it since I can never remember. I mean, even back when I was a small kid, I can remember a lot of different women being hired in Trump's real estate offices and things like that. So I mean, he has a soft spot for hiring women, and I get it. That you want to give them, you feel like you want to give them a leg up or whatever in the business world, but when it just doesn't pan out, it doesn't pan out. And he should have gave the broom to old Pam Bondi much sooner, because she just didn't do her job. So, what about Iran? Well, Trump has been warning Iran about this continued fight that they have going on. They just keep on coming with what little firepower they have, right? I don't even know where they must be getting something from a caliphate or something. I don't know, because it's been to my best understanding that we obliterated like everything that they have. So the fact that they were able to shoot down that fighter jet, which we'll get to here in a minute, really floors me. So I'm not even for sure where they got the weapons for that. But Trump warns Iran 48 hours before all hell rains down. President Trump on Saturday, that's today, warned Iran it is 48 hours to reach a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, escalating pressure as tensions rise in the Middle East. In a post on Truth Social, Trump wrote, "Remember when I gave Iran 10 days to make a deal or open up the Hormuz Strait? Well, time is running out. 48 hours before all hell will rain down on them. Glory be to God," President Donald J. Trump. When the warning comes as the United States and Iran remains at odds over the strategy vital waterway, a narrow passage between Iran and Oman. I'm not for sure exactly how to enunciate that serves as a key route for global oil shipments. Senator Lindsey Graham, no, it's not my favorite fellow there, said he talked to Trump and posted his backing for the president's edict, writing, "I totally support his ultimatum to the Iranian regime to open up the Strait of Hormuz and do a peace deal. A massive military operation awaits Iran if they choose poorly." He added, "I am completely convinced that he will use overwhelming military force, as we already been doing, against the regime if they continue to impede the Strait of Hormuz and refuse a diplomatic solution to achieve our military objectives. It's not clear to Iran and others by now that President Trump means business. Means what he says, then I don't know when it will ever be. Choose wisely." Roughly a fifth of the world's oil supply moves through the Strait of Hormuz, making any disruption a major concern for energy markets and global trade. U.S. officials have accused Iran of threatening or interfering with commercial shipping in the area in recent weeks, raising fears of broader escalation. Trump has repeatedly called on Iran to allow full access through the strait, framing the issue as central to both economic stability and regional security. The administration has signaled that failure to comply could lead to further action, though officials have not publicly detailed specific next steps. Iran has pushed back on the U.S. demands, and no formal agreement has been reached, even as international leaders urge de-escalation. The standoff has heightened concerns about potential disruptions to shipping and the risk of wider conflict in the region. Goodness. You know, Iran, come on. You gotta stop this. That low IQ Islamic worldview it's just not gonna last through our firepower. Just give it up, and so that we can get things changed over to the people. The people of Iran need to have the control and get rid of all this Islamic tyranny and open up the strait. But furthermore, that strait is where a lot of Russian energy flows through to our allies. They still buy oil and other energy from Russia, and they use that strait. So it's actually somewhat a good thing that there's a resistance there, because I don't know if I could bend the president's ear, but if I could, I would say, hey, President Trump, tell him to just purchase American. Buy American oil, buy American energy. We've got it. Buy our stuff. Stop buying from Russia. And I say we probably just need to go ahead and take the strait by force ASAP. Because they don't get it. We've how many leaders have died in Iran, and they still keep fighting? It's a whole lot of it's like a culture of duh, right? It's a culture of duh. So let's get away from all of that, and let's just finish this thing. There's no reason to keep. They're not gonna go for a deal. They haven't done it this far. We're in April now. You know, If this thing, he said 2 or 3 weeks, so I'll give him that. But at the end of that, I'm going to start voicing my frustrations with us still being in Iran. I really am. Um, but there needs to be something done. There needs to be something done, and I think maybe 48 hours is probably a good time frame. But I'd say right when that clock runs down, boom, rain all the hell down. At 3, 2, 1, that very second, hit the button. Don't give them another chance. Don't say, "Oh, we extended it." None of that. Hold to that word. You mean what you say, and I know you do. So I'm gonna hold you to it. All right. It's moving on. So Trump did just order that all DHS employees impacted by the Dem shutdown will get paid. He says that they will get paid. So how does he intend to do this? Well, President Trump has had enough of the Democrats' party's games. The Department of Homeland Security shutdown has lasted over 50 days. During much of that time, they were not paid, thanks to the antics of the Democratic Party, whose base wants them to defund ICE and dismantle DHS. We need this agency to stay operational, especially since the threat of terrorist retaliation has increased since Operation Epic Fury on Iran. So TSA agents are finally being paid under an order from Trump, an executive order, EA for short, EO for short rather. And with their, I'm looking at the Internal Affairs EA. So anyway, but with their salaries covered by funds from last year's tax cut bill. See, that's the gift that keeps on giving. That tax cut bill, doesn't it? But with congressional Republicans bungling the spending measure to reopen DHS before Easter recess, Trump has issued a memo that all DHS employees are to be paid, citing national security concerns. As he should. Senate Republicans passed a half measure that would have funded DHS except ICE and Border Patrol before the recess. They did this at 3 a.m. by voice vote, then left town. Now, if you didn't do your job, you just before your job was done, you just kind of cut out, went home for the weekend. Would you still have a job when you came back on Monday? Probably not. If you, especially if it had to do with national security. But if it was integral to anything with any job, if it was integral to your company that you finish your job and then you just leave for the weekend because I don't have time. Oh, it's 3 a.m. Well, if you didn't piddle fart around so much, you spent far too much time playing around and going, oh, the Democrats quit complaining and get things done. Oh, the wheels. No, it's not the wheels. You got the majority. You work it out. You tell people how it is. You don't ask. You tell them. You're going to vote for this. This is how it is. This is how we're going to get things done. We're moving forward. Deal with it. And if you don't want to be part of it, then step down and leave your office because you're useless. We'll get you replaced. We'll get you primaried. But that was what the Democrats wanted. Although there was drama before this motion because Chuck Schumer signaled there might not be enough votes. They took advantage of Republicans who should have never played ball with these people. That move jammed up the House, which had to pass it that day. Did it really have to pass it that day? Ask yourself that question also. Did it have to pass that day? They work into the weekend. They can work into the weekend anytime. They can decide they're going to stay longer. Well, we had to hurry up because the clock. What clock? You're a representative of the people. You have a duty to the people. The clock doesn't run out. Your job is to take care of the people, the citizens of the United States. You represent the people. You get the job done, then you can go home if there's time. Otherwise, you sit your tail end in that chair. I had to censor myself. You sit your tail end in that chair and you figure it out and you get the votes. That's how you get things done. They took it, but they took advantage of them. They jammed things up. They didn't. They didn't. They didn't though. They didn't get it done, opting instead for a 60-day continuing resolution, which lacks the votes to pass the Senate. Thank God for this man right here, President Donald J. Trump. Thank God for him, because he decided to get them paid, get these employees paid, so they can continue to do their job. The Senator Majority Leader John Thune and Speaker Mike Johnson now say that they will pass the Senate plan, funding DHS without ICE, CBP, and later fund the rest of the agency through reconciliation, which would give these two agencies funding for 3 years without any Democrat concessions on demasking or judicial warrants. Trump has stepped in to make sure these staffers get paid. ICE and CBP agents were being paid, but their civilian support staff were not. Thank you, President Trump, for that. These folks deserve to be paid. They work hard. They work hard, and they work hard at keeping us safe. And for the legal immigrants to stay safe too. Because I don't know how many, but I'm sure that there are plenty that come here legally. These high skilled folks, and their home countries don't like that they took their high skills and came here and try to pursue them all the way into this country. So it's very good that he was able to get them paid. All right. I now let's pivot back to things happening in Iran, right? We have a desperate search going on for the missing pilot of the F-15E jet downed by Iran. And this stretched into a second day as of yesterday. Now, I read an article last night that says that they think they may have found the pilot, but I didn't get any definitive answers. So this is what I have on the news desk right now. Yes, we definitely need ICE. We would have to, we would definitely have a replay of 2020 through 2024. Yeah, that's absolutely right, Lisa. We would definitely have a replay of that and the destruction in the streets and all the things. But this desperate search has been going on, and the search for the missing American pilot that was shot down over Iran stretched into the second day after his co-pilot was rescued in a daring search and rescue mission that saw other U.S. aircraft targeted. Crews were racing against time to find the second pilot of the Strike Eagle, which is believed to have gone down Friday in I can't pronunciate that, but it's spelled Kohgiluyeh in Boyer Ahmed province in the southwestern part of the country near Iraq. The New York Times reported Iranian officials quickly replaced a bounty on the pilot's head, calling on civilians to help capture him or her. A retired Marine combat pilot, Captain Ron Alvarado, told the Post. This is New York. This article is from the Post, by the way, New York Post. The timing of the attack may bode in the U.S.'s favor in terms of finding the pilot because of better night vision and infrared communication technology than Iranian combatants. We own the night, Alvarado said. Hopefully, he or she will be rescued by morning. By early Saturday, local time, there were no updates on the status of the missing pilot. Both pilots reportedly ejected from the plane, with one located and rescued by U.S. forces hours later. That pilot was being medically treated. The Strike Eagle has an emergency locator beacon as part of the survival kit that can be activated automatically or manually. Alan Deal, former investigator of the Air Force Safety Center, said other U.S. aircraft were caught in the crosshairs as crew members rushed into action after the first plane plunged into the ground. A second fighter plane crashed into the Persian Gulf area after it was struck by Iranian forces, but the lone pilot was safely rescued, according to U.S. officials. The A-10 Thunderbolt, also known as Warthog, was able to reach the Kuwaiti airspace where the pilot ejected and the plane crashed, an official told NBC News. Iran also struck a pair of U.S. military helicopters involved in the F-15E rescue, but all crew members are safe. A U.S. official told NBC News. Some of the crew were injured, but the choppers safely returned to their case. The Washington Post reported. The F-15 is the first U.S. aircraft to be shot down in Iran during Operation Epic Fury, in which the U.S. and Israel have launched 20,000 strikes. So one plane in 20,000 strikes. That's a pretty good record. The strikes on this evil regime as the war stretched into its sixth week. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps claimed its newly developed and advanced air defense had downed the jet, which was completely destroyed and crashed. Tehran's press TV reported. A photo circulating online appeared to show one of the ejected seats. The anchor of the local affiliate of the state broadcaster earlier urged Iranians to hunt down the downed enemy pilots. If you capture the enemy pilot or pilots alive and hand them over to the police, you will receive a precious prize. They'll probably just take you out and shoot you after they take the pilot. Honestly, that would be your precious prize is death. They love lying to their citizens, don't they? The anchor had said, according to the Associated Press, President Trump, in a brief NBC News interview Friday afternoon, declined to discuss the specifics of the ongoing search for the outstanding pilot, but instead the series of strikes against U.S. jets and choppers won't sidetrack negotiations. No, not at all. No, it's war, he said. We're in war. Trump and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth have boasted about how the operation against Iran has knocked out much of Iran's capabilities. Hegseth said early in March, near the start of the war, that the U.S. was establishing total dominance over the skies we fly over and seas we fly over. Meanwhile, Trump, in a primetime address to the nation on Wednesday, said thanks to progress made during the war, his administration was on track to complete all America's military objectives very shortly. So it's about 2.5 weeks, he said, in the office the following day. More than 90% of Tehran's missile and drone capacities have been eliminated in month-long war, U.S. officials have said. Still, Trump has refused to rule out putting American boots on the ground during the conflict. On Friday, Iran used the successful attacks to taunt the U.S. Iran's parliamentary speaker, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, criticized the U.S. in an X post on Friday that its no strategy war has now been downgraded from regime change to, hey, can anyone find our pilots, please? A U.S. F-35A was also damaged over Iran on March 19th during the combat mission, and MQ-9 drones have been shot down. 3 American F-15 fighter jets were also shot down over Kuwait in a friendly fire incident. But Hegseth revealed in a Pentagon news conference that that the 6 downed crew members in those jets had never left the theater and returned to drop bombs on Tehran Tuesday. Since the start of the war, 365 U.S. service members have been wounded in action, while the death toll is at 13, according to the Pentagon data available online. It's unclear if Friday's incidents have been included in those figures. I'd like to see this thing come to an end. That's why I said I think we should just f- figure it out where to drop these bombs and just finish it up. Wherever all their heaviest places are, and just get rid of this, because it's just gonna keep happening. Iran is just gonna keep coming. They've been doing it for this past 50 years. These low IQ Islamic uh, fools have taken over that country for far too long, and the citizens deserve to be free. Not only that, but we got to. I'd like to be able to turn on the TV and stop hearing "Death to America" in Aramaic. Wouldn't you? Let's get it done. Department of Justice sues New Jersey town over natural gas hookup ban. Now, the Center Square, a New Jersey township, is being sued by the Department of Justice over a law that bans new natural gas hookups, with prosecutors claiming the town is illegally interfering with the federal government's energy policies. The lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court in New Jersey alleges that Morris Township's natural gas ban denies consumers reliable, resistant, and affordable energy, as well as the use of commonplace gas appliances for cooking, heating, and other household needs, and weakens our nation's energy dominance. The township's gas ban is not only bad policy, it is also unlawful. The DOJ wrote in the 10-page complaint. The Energy Policy and Conservation Act preempts state and local regulations concerning the energy efficiency or energy use of any covered product subject to a federal energy conservation standard. In 2022, the township banned natural gas, propane gas, and fuel oil infrastructure and appliances in new apartment complexes or apartment style housing with 12 or more dwelling units. Local officials said that restrictions were needed to help wean homeowners and businesses off natural gas and other fossil fuels to meet the state's climate change goals. Why are you electing these officials that have these these policies? And how are they even allowed to make such policies that affect They're not. It's illegal. Deputy Assistant Attorney General Adam Gustafson of the Justice Department Environment and Natural Resources Division said only the federal government has exclusive authority to regulate appliances and infrastructure, and called Morris Township's law local overreach of national energy policies. Banning natural gas is illegal, he said in a statement. It makes heating, cooking, drying, and other life functions more unaffordable for consumers. The administration is committed to unleashing American energy and empowering Americans. New Jersey's climate change plans for call for sustainability, reducing the state's greenhouse gas emissions by 2050, in part by weaning homes and businesses off natural gas and other fossil fuels to keep the lights turned on and heat their homes. Former Governor Phil Murphy, and a Democrat who pushed through climate change plans during his tenure, repeatedly denied that the state was considering a ban on gas stoves. Better not try anything like that here in Indiana. I'll tell you that. It won't fly. Let's see here. Audrey says she's glad Trump held accountable for many of the crimes he was charged with. She says he didn't do well with his cases, went to trial. Juries found him guilty of felonies. Oh, really? Actually, nope. They didn't. He actually has not been found guilty of any sexual crimes, and all the felonies are thrown out already, because guess what? They were unlawful. And they didn't happen. Go find some actual news sources, because you've been lied to if you think that he was actually charged. That was a corrupt judge who unlawfully charged Trump. He just expediently said, "You're charged with this. No evidence. Just, you're charged with this." He smiled. Anyhow, before we get too far derailed, New Jersey is full on Riri. You know what I mean. And the only reason I'm curbing that language is because I know that we're on multiple platforms here. And I want this video to keep reaching, folks. Well, you're going to take away the gas stove, huh? Because, the environment. The gas stove doesn't affect it. Not like that. Because I want to be able to cook and not pay $1,000, electric bill. We're not going to pay a $20 gas bill. And it's all over lies. They're doing it. They're the entire thing is the premise is at best set upon lies. New Jersey Republicans have sought to block any efforts to ban gas stoves as the state takes aggressive steps to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions. A proposal filed by Senate GOP lawmakers would prohibit New Jersey from banning the sale, installation, or operation of gas stoves and other appliances, but the measure has failed to gain traction in the Democratic-controlled legislature. Of course, that's why the federal government's going to have to step in on this. And they're going to have to do something more than a strongly worded letter. They're going to have to say, hey, you can't take energy away from our citizens. They need choice. And you're actually the Democrats talk about monopolies all the time. You hear Chuck Schumer, the monopoly, it's a monopoly. But then they go through and they support policies that create more monopolies than anybody's ever seen. Look at the tech industry. Do you think that's support? Do you think that everything that's over there in Silicon Valley and all the Democrat policies that perpetuate everything that happens, all that money that's going through there, you think those aren't monopolies? You don't think they don't have a stranglehold on information? That's why platforms like this has to exist. There have to be something to break that cycle, something to cut the cord, something to give you real news. And people need to start thinking for themselves and not don't take what I'm saying gospel. Go find it. Don't be like this Audrey individuals here. Trump was definitely, he was charged. You don't just parrot and nod along. Use your brain. You were given one by God, by the way. Use your brain. Critical thinking is exactly that. It's in the name. Critical thinking. And if you come up here in my live chat talking about things that aren't true, I'm going to hold you accountable. And I'm going to tell you, make sure that you submit something. You make a claim, submit something that tells me otherwise. Submit something that says what I've told you is true. And then I'm still going to hold you accountable because I need to know that what you submitted is in fact the objective truth and not just another New York Times article. Because if you submit to me New York Times or the Daily Beast, which I read a Daily Beast article just a minute ago, just to make sure that all you lefties out there, no, he's only reading conservative articles. He's only going to do conservative sources. You'll see that I flip-flop between left and right all the time when it comes to reading the news articles. Why? Because I think on my own. I read, I find out what they say, then I go and check it, and then I go and check it again, and I go and check it again, I go and check it again. Because people the news lies to you all the time. Whether you're watching MS Now, CNN, Fox News, Newsmax, insert news, if it's on the television, they're lying to you. And they do it here on the internet too. Continually. And they parrot things and they're paid. Some of them are just useful idiots. And they just repeat whatever. Because they're like, oh, I just want a paycheck. So I'm just going to say whatever's on that card. But some of them know exactly what they're doing. They know that they're lying to you. But it pays well. It pays well to lead you astray. The Dems policy are as real as climate change. That's right, Lisa. Oh my goodness. We could go down that rabbit hole for a while, but I have one more article to get to here, and this one is quite fun. Aliens. So Congress, even though they're more interested in vacation than making sure that our government employees are paid, like the Senate. The Senate just oh, it's Easter weekend, I got to get out of here. No, you don't. Sit your keister back down on that chair and get things done. But Congress is demanding the Department of War release 46 secret UFO or UAP videos, and they say you're going to see some weird effing s. Yes, I'm curbing my language. Specifically, I try not to curse, honestly. But members of Congress are demanding 46 military videos from the Department of War, which insiders say offer convincing proof that advanced non-human craft are operating on Earth. Now, you could believe the thought that it is aliens. I don't believe that it's aliens. I think if they were a craft, then it would be likely fallen angels. And you can believe it or not believe it. But I'm a huge proponent of the Bible, if you know me at all. And a lot of things that are described, well, wheel within a wheel and all this stuff that's going on here. And this what we call an alien craft now is probably just a physical manifestation of something that's supernatural, and that's what our brains receive it as or perceive it as, because we've been told for the past 100 years or so that it's aliens. Anyhow, it says Representative Anna Paulina Luna requested the long list of explosively titled files on Wednesday, which include 45 previously unreleased military clips. The presence of unidentified aerial phenomenon (UAPs) in and around the sensitive airspaces of U.S. military installations poses a threat to the security of the armed forces and their readiness, according to the April 1st letter addressed to Secretary Pete Hegseth. Those with knowledge of the long list of videos which include titles like "Several UAP in Vicinity of Columbus, Ohio Airport" and "UFOs in Formation over Persian Gulf," said the clips are shocking. You're going to see some weird effing s. A source who has viewed the videos told the Post. The wildest clips include radar footage from thermal sensors, satellite images, and underwater photos of swarms of unidentified submerged objects, the insider said. One video shows several USOs going in and out of water near highly classified submarine, according to the source. Some of the clips are in clear, full color, setting them apart from previously released footage. None show alien creatures. one video on the list titled Syrian UAP Instant Acceleration 2021 was released on February 3rd by an independent journalist, Jeremy Corbell. The military radar footage shows a small circular craft that is followed by a radar operator before it zooms off, demonstrating instantaneous acceleration, a marker of advanced science not known to man. Some craft may have conventional explanations, such as secretive U.S. military projects, according to the insider. Congress is not going into the request this blindly, with two sources telling the Post moles within the intelligence community they have eyes on the files being requested, and they'll blow the whistle if the videos are moved, altered, or deleted by anyone. The Department of War is expected to hand over the clips by April 14th, according to the letter. Luna's office did not respond to requests for comment. So if you want to help any way, shape, or form, then write in that request of information. Write in that request of information today. We as the American people have a right to know. These things can be declassified. And if we do it together, write in these request of information forms. If there's hundreds of us along with Congress, we could show that there's interest in getting these things uncovered and turning these shells over. And I believe that we're going to see, I honestly believe that we're going to see that it's not aliens. I think what we're going to see is definitive proof that it's fallen angels and Nephilim. I think that's what we're going to see. That's what we're going to. They don't want. The reason they want to hide it and put it away and say, "Oh, you can't see this. You can't see this. Let me pull this curtain so I can alter the footage," is because they don't want us to see the proof that's been captured that proves once again the Bible. And you can call me whatever you want. But the more they try to hide and put away and change things and say that the Bible isn't true and things that are said in the Bible isn't true, the more they end up looking like fools. And it's really, really getting tiring. People say, "Oh, it's aliens. It's aliens. It's definitely aliens." Once again, you've been lied to. I'm sure you've heard of Project Bluebeam. If you haven't, if that's the first time you've heard it, don't believe the first thing you see on Google search, because they're going to say, "Oh, it's fake and it's made up." It's a real government program. They're gaslighting you, because I've been researching Project Bluebeam for many years. And the Google search used to say the truth, believe it or not. Way back before they were a monopoly due to Democrat policies. There was actually a search engine called Ask Jeeves, and there was a search engine called Dogpile. That's how far back I go. Back when search engines were just beginning to be a thing. So really think critically about what they've done. What about this? What about this? Well, let's explain away Bluebeam. Okay, well then, how about Project Mockingbird? Google will still tell you that that's real. I use Brave browser because I'm smarter than the average bear, but I want to get around the fluff that comes from Google, the gaslighting. But they'll tell you that Project Mockingbird is real, and what it is, just like you turn on any news source, And then you turn on another news source and they're saying the exact same thing from channel to channel from a script. And that script is the same no matter what channel you're on. Think about how truly demonic that is. I want you to really use your brain today to really critically think. Get deep into the recesses of your mind and open up and really think. If I told you that 2 plus 2 equals 5, would you say, okay? Or would you question me? Well, I would hope you would question me. I would hope that you would question me. That's a good start. That's a real good start. You're right there, Win Talent Scout. You're right there. Transhumanism, transhumanized humans. That's Nephilim, and the Earth is getting probably covered with them right now. And I tell you, it says at the end, this thing's gonna be consumed with fire. So, glad I'm not gonna be here for that. But Project Mockingbird is a real thing, and that's why all these newscasters say the same thing over and over again. They just parrot the same things. Now, I went through and I read some articles, but I gave you some insight from my personal opinion. I gave you some insights from things that I know, and that's why I'm telling you, don't take my word as gospel. I want you to question me. Questioning people is good, because that's how you can find the truth. That's just like when I go through and we have a Bible study over there on Revolver Broadcasting. We have a Bible study. It's called Morning Word. Every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Saturday, matter of fact. So we'll be back on Monday on that. But when we read God's word, we question it. I mean, you'll hear my co-host Sterling and I, we question it all the time while we're reading. We're just two dudes doing Bible study there, and we question it and we go, oh, well, let's go find this. Let's dig. Let's find what the biblical scholars say. Let's see what the history was. Let's see what the theology is. Let's see what the culture was. Was God referring to it at just that time, or is this something that both refers to then and now? Is this an all-encompassing statement? And you have to pull things in context. And when you question the Bible, you'll find it over and over and over again that you can't find any fault in it. Because Old Testament proves New Testament, New Testament, it solidifies Old Testament. Because it's prophecy fulfillment, prophecy fulfillment, prophecy fulfillment. The giving of the law and the perfection of the law, going from Old to New Testament. And someone asked me earlier today, this guy named Beyond Formal, you might be familiar with him, I don't know. It's a good friend of mine. He asked me to make a video clip, what it means to be a Christian. So I'm gonna close with it. What does it mean to be a Christian? Well, since we're talking about truth, right? Romans 3:23 says, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Now, I'm not cherry picking, because in that verse by itself is still in context. And it states what it states. For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. What does that mean? Our destination is hell. And that's what we deserve. As humans, we deserve hell. We do. But we've been given a great interceder. We've been given grace through the mercy of God himself. We didn't deserve it. That's what mercy is. We didn't deserve it, but we've been given it anyway. Isn't that wonderful? So what it means to be a Christian is understand that you're a sinner, repent of those sins. As a matter of fact, Peter stated in his very first sermon after Jesus ascended, he told them, repent. So he's telling it to us too, repent and believe that Jesus Christ is your Lord and you will be saved. There's no magic prayer. There's no specific platitude of words. You repent for what you've done and you believe. Moving forward, what do? You pray. That's for sure. Because once you're in Jesus' hands, what you've been drawn near, you will never be plucked from his hands, because you've been now that you have repented and believed, you are baptized in the Holy Spirit. Not the water. You can do the water if you want. That's an outward display of a private decision, but you've been baptized by the Holy Spirit and you can move forward in it. In that truth. So you can pray, pursue his wisdom through reading his word, gain it when you read it, and then use it. Don't just let it sit here in your mind and your heart. I'm going to keep it to myself. Get out there and do something about it, because love is an action. Love is not, I love God, I love Jesus. No, you don't. Show it. Let that Holy Spirit shine through you. And because your joy meter is full. Why is your joy meter full? Because Jesus is in your heart. When you believe that he is your Lord, no matter what the storm is, your joy meter is full. The storm is beautiful when you have Jesus. That's our direct quote from from Sterling's daughter, Serenity. Actually, she's a 13-year-old kid. The storm is beautiful when you have Jesus. So I'm going to leave you all with this as a close here. I know I said I'm closing, but I have a pastor's type of closing. It's just the way I am. So I hope you can forgive me. But I always tell people to stay in trouble, no matter what program I'm leaving. And why do I tell you to stay in trouble? Because that would make no sense if you've never seen me before. Well, I tell you to stay in trouble because if you have Christ in your hearts, you will in fact be in trouble with the world. The world doesn't want you living under his grace. That's your salvation first and foremost, and I pray that each and every one of you has that. I really do. The world doesn't want you praying to him, reading his word, having a relationship with him, and it definitely doesn't want you going out and doing something so dangerous, as we've seen, as telling others about him. They will kill you, they'll behead you, they'll shoot you, they want to get rid of you. I know they want to get rid of me. I get the death threats in my email, and I'm not even in that big of a program. But I'm here stating it anyway because I believe. So that means it should be an encouragement to all of you to do all that anyway. Stay in trouble. And I want to send out my love to each and every one of you. Even the naysayers. Because I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray for you. Thank you for joining me here on Deprogrammed. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. Every other Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern. You all have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Yeah. They told you what to think, not how to think. Time to wake up. Deprogrammed. Yeah. Static in my head, yeah, they feed it through the screen. Every headline scripted, every angle too clean. They sell fear, sell lies, dress it up as truth. But I see through the smoke, yeah, I'm back to the root. They don't want faith, they want blind compliance. Cancel conviction, silence defiance. But I got fire, ain't hiding that light. Truth in my chest, yeah, I came to fight. They twist what's real, redefine right, call wrong, progress keep dimming the light. But I read between lines, I don't follow the wave. I was lost, now I'm found, yeah, I broke from the cave. I won't bow, I won't bend. Truth don't change with the trend. Through the noise, through the lies, I can finally see with open eyes. Break the signal, cut the lies. Hear the truth, it never dies. Turn it up, let it roar. We ain't playing this game no more. Deprogrammed, yeah we rise. Faith and fire in our eyes. Stand tall, unashamed, we were lost, but now we're deprogrammed. To a joke, make conviction feel old, but I stand on the word, yeah, solid, unshaken. Every lie they built up, yeah, it's all gonna break it. I see culture shift quick like sand in a tide, but truth don't drift, it don't run, it don't hide. They can mock, they can shout, try to bury the name, but the light breaks through, yeah, bursts to the shame. This ain't rage, this is purpose and aim. We bring heat, but we ain't get the flame. Not programmed, not bought, not sold. We speak life, we don't fold. Yeah. It's more than a podcast. It's a wake-up call. Faith over fear. Truth over all. You don't gotta stay asleep. You don't gotta play along. Break the chains. Find your voice. This where you belong.